it's time for another Chatterfox review, and this time it's on a bit of a silly movie that shows just how important family can really be. That's right, it's Over the Hedge! Now, this is a movie with characters I can relate to, a few of them actually, so let's start with the cast, okay? Now, we'll start with the main cast, a group of woodland friends who all work together pretty well. It's no wonder they call their group a family. Now, we'll start with Fern, voiced by Gary Shandling. He's a turtle and an adorable one at that, but he's also a bit of a worrywart. He acts as the group's main leader initially, but also becomes sort of an issue for the group partway through the movie. He generally means well, though he can be too stubborn sometimes. Up next we have Stella, voiced by Wanda Sykes, and she's a skunk with a tiny bit of a temper, though she's pretty nice overall. She sort of insults herself a lot, showing her insecurities because of what she is, but her perceived flaws tend to help her friends out fairly often. After her we have Ozzy and Heather, a father and daughter pair of possums voiced by William Shatner and Avril Lavigne. Now, Ozzy, the papa possum, is a bit of a thespian, tending to ham up his acting a bit whenever he plays possum, which comes in handy in the movie. And it tends to embarrass his daughter Heather to no end. She comes off as a bit of a tomboyish character, talking like the stereotype of a teenage girl and even acting a little spoiled at times. But she's still got a heart of gold, and it shows more often than another family of note in the woodland community would be Liu and Penny. They're a couple of porcupines voiced by Eugene Levy and Catherine O'Hara, and they come off as the typical lovebird couple. They work together really well, showing what a pair of parents can accomplish when they work together. They also have 3 children, Bucky, Spike, and Willow, who act as the sort of comic reliefs for the film. They are voiced by Sammy Kirkpatrick, Shane Baumel, and Madison Davenport, by the way. Last but not least is Hammy, a red squirrel voiced by Steve Carell, and he's very obviously got ADHD to an incredible degree. He's another comic relief in a way, but he also plays a major role in a lot of the group's shenanigans. Some of the most memorable lines in the movie actually come out of this character, even if a lot of them are sort of naughty humor. Now we can move on to the driving force of this film, RJ, a sly raccoon voiced by none other than Bruce Willis, and oh boy is he a little schemer. He is smart, charismatic, and seriously flawed, but even if his greed is the main reason for the group's troubles, he still realizes what's important in the end. Now, on to the antagonists, and there are just 3 of them. Starting with the only fuzzy baddie, Vincent, a bear who is voiced by Nick Nolte, and boy oh boy is he ever mean. He's literally the thing of nightmares for RJ and is violent to a T, becoming the main obstacle for the group later in the movie. He gets a little more than he deserves though, along with the other 2 antagonists by the film's end. Next we have Dwayne, voiced by Thomas Hayden Church, and he's a human pest control officer with a bad habit of being a little nuts. He's sort of both a villain and a comic relief. And lastly, the aptly named Debbie, voiced by Deborah Wilson. She's the president of the local homeowners association in a suburban area, and she is an absolutely ghastly human being. She actually seems like the perfect physical manifestation of the ideas of arrogance and cruelty to animals. Now, there are also a number of side characters, including a feline love interest, a few human children, and an adorable pupper. But we're not going to get into them since it would take way too long to cover everyone, and a lot of these characters don't actually drive the plot or aren't introduced until way late in the movie. Now let's move on to the plot, shall we? The story starts off with a greedy little raccoon trying to get some food from a vending machine and failing miserably. When he doesn't get his prize, he goes to try and steal a bit of food from Vincent, which quickly turns into a moment of raiding Nom Mountain. See, 'cause the bear stockpiled a lot of food. Needless to say, it goes badly. One thing leads to another, and all of Vincent's food from a year of scaring campers ends up as a spectacular sort of street pizza, and it gets hit by a big rig. Vincent nearly eats poor little RJ right then and there, and only decides not to when RJ promises to get everything back for the bear, including the red wagon that the raccoon tried to use to snatch away all of the noms to begin with. RJ is given 1 week to accomplish this impossible task, and the setting for the story is all done. We're introduced to the rest of the cast shortly thereafter. Now, I'm not going to spoil too much, since the shenanigans are kind of what make this film worth every second it takes to watch. But when RJ meets the rest of the fuzzy group having just come out of hibernation, he uses his silver tongue to talk them into helping him without realizing it's all to save his fuzzy butt from being a meal. Through some quick wit, smooth talking, and a little lie here and there, RJ gets the group to help him gather up some food from the suburban area that's been built up around their home, quite literally while they slept. Everything seems to be going well until the antagonist, Debbie, finds out about the animals and freaks out just a little. This is where the real weirdness begins in the story. Everything kind of comes to a head when Vern decides they've angered the humans and decides to try and give the food back. which leads to a lot of damage to the suburban area, a blown up car, and a very angry Debbie who calls in a pest control specialist, and well, things go downhill from here pretty quickly. I won't really go into very much detail because I'll admit the plot's pretty thin aside from this, but the movie does end on a funny little scramble and a lot of character development for everyone, including a well-deserved outcome for the three antagonists. All in all, though, this movie seems to be more about the journey than the destination, as a lot of the best moments in it are centered around character development with a bunch of comedy splashed in. Now for my summary. While I like this movie, and so do a lot of others that I've talked to about it, to me it lacks something. It had the makings of something amazing, but it sort of got lost in the comedy and corny cliches. Overall, I give it a 6 out of 10 paws. It's a good watch, and it's really flashy with a lot of popular music from its time, but it still feels lacking somehow. Still very much worth the watch, though, and if you haven't seen it, go see it! Anyhow, this is it for this review, so until next time, bye! Oh yeah, I want to show our patrons some love too, because they're awesome! Their contributions help us to afford all the neat stuff we use to record, so thank you! And, if you want to become a patron too, you can click the link down in the description. You'd really be helping the channel out, and you'd get a couple nifty goodies too. Anyways, if you made it this far in the video, then yay! You're amazing! By the way, subscribe! Please don't make a foxy beg.